My name is Jason Brooks. Everybody calls me Brother Brooks, and I'm from Montgomery, Alabama. I moved here to Grove Park about a year ago, and I love Atlanta. It's definitely a city that has wonderful opportunities, especially with people that have businesses or are trying to start their own business.
Yeah, I still think that actually has more revenue capability than the actual vending machine.
Well, so often, like especially in my community, we've dealt with everything from homelessness to, gentrification to, not being able to, buy land. I've even seen articles where, our power bill is higher because we have less trees. So there's even justice around environmental justice issues that are affecting Black people. Not to just mention the prison industrial complex that we're facing, healthcare issues. So we have so many issues, and my way to give back to my community would be to try to empower as many people as possible. I want to be able to give that kid that inspiration that says, hey, you can start your own business and you can be successful at it. You don't necessarily have to work for somebody. Work for somebody is great. I've learned so many things from working for other people that, that's what I use every single day in my own business. But it's great when you can empower somebody to say, hey, you can start that business. You can, own that home. And so as we start talking about ownership and how important ownership is in business, same thing in housing. Same thing to own your own home. That's such an American dream. And a lot of people from my community, they're just locked out. They're locked out of having that. They don't have the right credit score. They don't have enough money to close. They don't have the right program. They don't know the right person. They don't have the right bank. And so, it makes me feel great when I can at least say, well, here's an avenue that you can make money, you can take care of your family. This is a side hustle that you can make if you want to make it a side hustle. This is a business if you want it to be a full-time business. And so everything that I do is really about empowering other people, doing things that show pride in your work and having dignity for people and really having empathy for everybody. I want everybody to be empowered. So, I speak about my community, but I want all communities to be empowered. But I have to start with my own backyard first.
And ain't gonna finish it.
Here you go. You're so. I remember as a little girl just going to my father's job. He worked at a senior citizen home where he cooked for the elderly. So I remember him taking my brother and I to the senior citizen homes, and in the kitchen with him, he would be the only person that cooking for them. We had to eat breakfast there and everything because he had no one to keep us. But the people loved him so much, they didn't mind him bringing us at all. We had a huge family. My aunt had a few people in her home, and so we grew up around a lot of cousins. My aunt, she cooked as well. So I always was in someone's kitchen because I love to eat food. I love food, period. So I just grew up, instead of being outside, being that we were in a kind of a rough neighborhood, my dad was really overprotective. So the only place I pretty much had fun at home is been inside of a kitchen. And that was whether with my dad or with my aunt, my grandmother, whoever.
First time go, they'll give you about 10,000. They'll give you about 10,000 first time go. Up in the trunk, like jump over what was in the trunk. People don't realize that segregation really never ended in Montgomery. And in many places around the country, segregation hasn't ended. You have predominantly Black areas, underfunded. These areas don't receive the same services, and it's very hard to get, a loan or to get high-paying jobs in these areas. And so it forces those people from those areas, like myself, to go and drive out to other places, spend more money to be a part of other communities. He's probably getting a whole lot more money than what I'm going to get.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, he's making money. Yeah, and that's like me and him. We've been rocking with each other for a minute. That's even like why I did the Brother Brooks thing. I think my path has always been entrepreneurship. I've worked for multiple jobs and I learned so many things. And I thought that this time it was, the right moment for me to apply this to my own business. I've learned customer service from the pizza places that I grew up when I was 16 and got my first job. I learned how to work with people from that business. And then I learned from, nonprofit work how to have empathy for people and how to teach people. And so not only with my vending machine business where I stock it with the best snacks and fruits and drinks, but I also teach people how to start their own vending machine companies. So that has also given me joy because, working with nonprofits, a lot of times you come into the community, you're a student of the community, but then you're also teaching the community. You're giving the community advice on how they should handle certain issues. And so I do the same thing with my vending machine business. I give young entrepreneurs, kids that are 17, 18, I give them free classes on how to start their own vending machine companies. I teach parents how they can empower their kids to start their own business and make their kids a boss. And that just brings me pride because in my community, when I was growing up, I didn't know any business owners. I didn't know anybody I could call and say, hey, how does a vending machine work, right? But now, my kids have that, their friends have that. It gives me immense pride to say that I own something and, that I'm serious and committed about something. And then I think it also gives my kids pride to say, my dad owns his own business. It makes us feel, great that, I'm able to give back in a substantial way and take care of my family and provide information to other people.
My daughter got sick with a respiratory infection. And after that, I continued to work and give her antibiotics. It turned into pneumonia. And I continued to work because I had just started working a job and I was so afraid of losing my job. But then she ended up with pneumonia and I said, you know what? I'm not putting a job before my daughter. Like, I'm not losing my child. I didn't even go over during that time when I was in the hospital after I had my daughter. We were both in the hospital for 2 weeks and she was in ICU. I met with my supervisor and I told her what was going on and I didn't want to take off, but I really needed to for my daughter. And she looked at me in my face and she said, that's not my problem. I need you here. And I looked at her, I just nodded my head, and something just came over to me and just said, Rhonda, it's time to go. For years, people have been telling you you're in the wrong field. You get at what you do, but food is your thing. Like, it's your passion. I always fed my neighbors wherever I lived. I've always fed my coworkers. I've always fed friends and family. So different people would tell me, you need to get into catering. You need a restaurant. Like, your food is really good. And I used to be like, yeah, you guys are just saying that.
When you think about Grove Park, it's really all about family. We talk about, sustainable housing and make sure that people can, obtain housing that, keeps them and their families together. But at the core of it, it's all about family. And when you take care of a family, you're not just taking care of that family, you're taking care of an entire generation. That's a huge piece. That's how you're gonna break that generational curse. You're gonna have families staying together, having affordable housing, and then that's gonna increase the dignity because they have something they can be proud about. They have a home that they can call theirs and, lifelong friends that they can call upon for help or, just a shoulder. So, I enjoy Grove Park for those reasons. You okay? You feel better? You got out the house. Is that what you wanted? Some fresh air? I want some fresh air. Yeah, man. It's funny because when you look at this neighborhood, you wouldn't even think anything crazy would even happen out here. But it does. You want to see what's going on? Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Can you say bye-bye? Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye.